welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking back at the funniest, epic...
Do you guys kind of hear number 15 Burger King foot lettuce? Like, you know, a little bit. Why do people do that voice? Okay, never heard of your channel, and I admit I didn't see the video, but a few points. Why would you not? Why would you say this? Why would you not watch the video if you're going to leave a big comment on it? I feel like you should at least watch the video and refute the points. This is a common tactic from people who are wrong, is to not actually discuss the points. Wasn't expecting to stream today, but I saw this drama about Watch Mojo. I usually cover content farms like our buddy Sponge Truths here, and I generally have started covering content farms mostly to talk about AI. But in covering content farms, I've kind of found a little bit even beyond AI, the issue just with the concept of trying to get views by like any means necessary. And this is a problem that is not exclusive to AI. Obviously, AI makes it a lot easier for people to do that. It makes it a lot easier to just pump out a lot of things. But something like Watch Mojo, I think, is a really interesting thing to look at because it's a way of seeing the attitudes that already existed and how AI just makes those attitudes worse. So Watch Mojo has been around for 20 years, I guess. I didn't know they were that old. My goodness. So that means they came about in 2006, which only would have been 1 year after YouTube was even created. Provided they even started on YouTube, which I don't actually know if that's true. I know watchmojo.com. 26 million subscribers. Crazy, crazy, crazy. You know, we probably all have watched like a Watch Mojo video, at least if you're like as old as I am and have like been on YouTube for long enough. Like, I probably would have watched like 3 or 4 like Watch Mojo videos like 10 years ago or something and been kind of like, this is like kind of shallow. I think that was like kind of basically my experience with them. Oh yeah, I watched a couple when I was like 12. Yeah, exactly. Like, I love how his search bar still says Sponge Truths. Get out of here. I know, the shadow of Sponge Truths, it always haunts me. Watch Mojo is AI. No, well, Watch Mojo wasn't always AI. Watch Mojo predates AI as we know it. Obviously, like AI, the concept is always like exists, but like AI in terms of like ChatGPT, like image generation, Watch Mojo is way older than that. Apparently, I don't have a whole lot. I don't know a whole lot about Watch Mojo. I'm actually looking forward to like exploring it with you guys. Like, I know of them, you know, they're kind of infamous with their like top 10 lists. This person on Reddit actually has on one of the Reddit posts we're going to look at, someone is saying something that there was a GTA related video that Watch Mojo made that seemed like it was a lot of AI hallucinations. I haven't looked into it myself. Here's what I think we're going to do. So right now, there is some drama about Watch Mojo. A YouTuber by the name of Voyan posted a video called Watch Mojo's Downfall Should Be Celebrated. I watched about 3 minutes of the video, as you can see right here. I actually pulled it up just like before the stream. And I got actually like sucked in. Like, the reason I even watched 3 minutes is because I think it's a genuinely pretty good video already. I've never seen this creator before. Apparently, I mean, people are calling them relatively small. They have over 100,000 subscribers. That's pretty big, but maybe they got a lot of those subscribers recently because of this video. Because this has kind of like blown them up because Watch Mojo specifically responded to this YouTuber in a very like obnoxious way. We'll get into the Watch Mojo response in a little bit. But anyway, we're not going to watch just this person's video. I recommend that you watch this person's video on your own time. Give them the view. I don't want to just watch their thing on my stream because then I'll just be like, that's a good point, and like, that's well made, and like, that's no fun. I want to watch bad videos on my streams. That's more fun for me, is watching bad videos. And I think that this is a good video. But what I do want to do is I want to talk about the Watch Mojo Crashout. But before we do talk about the Crashout, I think a great way for us to frame the Crashout is I think we all should together watch a Watch Mojo video. I mean, who here has actually watched a Watch Mojo video? What does the content even look like now? I even vaguely remember it. Like, I don't even know. Like, I'm thinking that it's trash from like cultural osmosis. So why don't we give Watch Mojo a chance? And then we'll read what they said, and then we'll make our judgments. I wonder what their most popular video is, like, ever. Because they don't get as many views anymore. That's something that this creator, not that creator. There's something that this creator talked about how they don't like get a lot of views anymore, or don't get a lot of views compared to what they used to get. Hey, thank you, Dutch Zura, for the $5. In my opinion, I think Watch Mojo is the prototype of slop content and the decline in rod of quality. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, if Watch Mojo didn't do it at first, someone else would have. Watch Mojo is a symptom of a human problem, which honestly this video is it kind of goes into. So again, I think you should watch Voyan's video. I think good for this guy. I'm happy to see a YouTuber who seems to be doing good work, at least from the 3 minutes I've watched of him, get some kind of recognition over something like this. That's always something that we should be happy for. I'm curious what like their most popular video ever is. Top 10 Bruce Lee moments, 99 million views 12 years ago. That's their top video. Their second top video with 90 million views, top 10 sexy female movie villains. So that's what we're dealing with. Yeah, so like look how all their like top videos that are in these tens of millions, almost 100 million views are over 10 years old. Let's see their most popular video that's less than 10 years old. Let's try to find that. 7 years ago. Jurassic World as a chain reaction machine, 42 million views 7 years ago. What about 5 years ago? What about in the past year? What is the highest video in the past year? Let's see that, huh? 11 years ago. Top 10 needlessly sexualized female movie character. Oh, they do a lot of like provocative stuff. I didn't even know that. The audacity, needlessly sexualized female movie characters, yet your thumbnail is doing the thing that you're criticizing. Like, you don't see the irony there? Top 10 most paused movie moments. What? They're all over 10 years ago. So all like the popular ones. Like I'm just going well down. And they're all over 10 years. I guess the most recent one that got in the tens of millions of views was 7 years ago. Definitely a dip. Definitely a dip. Okay, I'm not gonna go through all of it. I think we kind of get the point. Look how far down I've scrolled. Look how far down I've scrolled. And basically all of their most popular videos are about a decade old. We saw one that was 7 years ago, and that's like about it. But like none of them are like within the past year. So they're kind of in a downfall. Not to say that they like don't make a lot of money. Like let's look at their actual like latest videos. Top 10 missing person cases with terrifying twists. Ugh. Bro, it's real people, man. You can't put top 10 missing person cases next to 11 most iconic regular show moments. We see the problem there. Come on. Anything for views, I guess. You think Watch Mojo is media literate? I need to actually watch their videos. I haven't watched one yet. I have to be fair to them. Millions and millions of subscribers, but new videos are struggling to even make 100,000 views these days. Oh, yeah. Well, like, who knows where these subscribers came from over 20 years? Like, it just could be... They could be anyone, the subscribers, people who don't log on anymore, people who are subscribed to hundreds of channels and barely watch. Like it's, subscribers actually doesn't really mean much. Like actual subscriber count doesn't generally mean how many people watch your videos consistently. Definitely botted subs, or a majority of them forgot they were subs. I don't think it botted subs. I think for how famous this channel is, I don't think so. I think they're real subs. I don't think they needed to bot subs. They're 20 years old, so like it's not that crazy. I think what we should do is we should actually watch a Watch Mojo video before I talk more about them. I want to actually talk about what they do. I do want to go into it saying that they are suspected to use AI this person is saying that. So I'm going to look out for that. I'm pretty good at spotting like AI tells, AI mistakes, AI hallucinations. I'm going to go into it like being on the lookout for that. Obviously, Watch Mojo, if they use AI now, they didn't always, but like if anyone was going to use AI, like why would they not? You know, like thing comes out, it makes it easier for them to make their like garbage videos. If they are garbage videos, hey, maybe this is the best video ever. I don't know. Maybe I should watch it and see. The one I want to watch is 11 most iconic regular show moments, just because I've been thinking about regular show a lot. I know the Lost Tapes just came out. I haven't seen it yet, the new one. But I mean, it's cartoon related, you know, it's really recent. One day ago, like it's their most recent cartoon related video. Also, the frequency in which they upload. Look at this. They post multiple times a day. I did not know that. That's insane. That is insane output. Like, how do you post meaningful discussions of like this kind of subject? Like the amount of time that it takes for me to analyze like a show and like write out a script and give you something meaningful, it takes a long time. Now, if I was working with like a team of people editing, writing this, you know, like you could obviously multiply that, you know, because I'm just one person and then my fiance does a bit of editing. So like between me and her, we put out like a solid video once a week. Sometimes I have a week off every so often.
Use a reflection technique. The what? How?
Just button mash. You only have one button.
Welcome to Watch.
So they start with a slightly over 6-second clip, a little risky there, guys, of regular show. It's kind of a weird clip choice. I guess it's kind of a funny moment. Would I say that this is an iconic regular show moment? I don't think so. Kind of a weird place to start. But see how it's immediately starting with like a moment from the show? Like it's just taking the joke that the regular show writers wrote and it's just starting the video with that. Like, let's see. I mean, does it actually comment on what makes this an iconic moment? Does it discuss it as a joke? Does it discuss its broader context within the episode that it takes place in? Does it do any of that? I don't know. Let's see.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're looking back at the funniest, epic, heartwarming, and tragic.
Oh, I already don't like the narrator. Obviously, the narrator's a real person. I don't think that they have AI narrators. And there's a little face. They even had like an image of the guy. Not to say that 100% would prove it's not AI, but I don't think it is. I think that would be very conspiratorial. But it's just that kind of you know what he sounds a little bit like?
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're looking back at the funniest, epic.
Do you guys kind of hear number 15 Burger King foot lettuce? Like, you know, a little bit. Why do people do that voice? I'm sure this guy's real voice or like a more conversational voice, like hear the way I talk. Because I put on a voice when I talk right now. It's funny. I have two different kinds of performance-based voices. This is my like streamer voice. And then you can hear in my scripted videos, I have more of a presenter voice. Neither of which are my regular speaking voice, because you do have to talk a certain way when you present, but I'll never understand this like
heartwarming and tragic moments in Mordecai and Rigby's insane misadventures. Expect major spoilers ahead.
It's useless.
I guess it doesn't sound that bad. Expect major spoilers ahead. I guess regular show can have spoilers. I guess it can have spoilers. I guess that's fine. He sounds like Rigby. Yeah. The narrator here is not as bad as No Villains Are Safe. They're clearly the difference, I guess, between this narrator and No Villains Are Safe is, I mean, maybe No Villains Are Safe's narrator is directed to sound that way. This person who is the narrator for Watch Mojo, they are directed to sound this way. I'm pretty sure their job hinges on sounding this way, and I don't think there's a lot of wiggle room for the narrator to do much more. If I do have more criticisms of the narrator, just know that I'm not only criticizing the narrator themselves. I'm also criticizing the expectation for them to sound a certain way. So I'm also criticizing Watch Mojo and also the expectation of narrators to have this kind of weird YouTuber-y voice.
We're all gonna die!
We're surely done for.
I don't know about you guys. I think it's rude not to invite your friends to the party.
Wait, what was that? What was that quote?
I don't know about you guys. I think it's rude not to invite your friends to the party.
Wait, why would they put in that? That doesn't make sense out of context. That was that does not make sense out of context. What was that? Why did they put in that clip? Yeah, Exit 9B. It's been a while since I rewatched Regular Show. I love Regular Show. What was the context of that clip? I don't even really remember. Why was Skips talking about a party? Because context is for the week. I haven't watched the show in a while. Yeah, that's the one where they're building they all like lose their memories and they all have to like, because they're trying to build the portal over the park and all of the villains from previous episodes come back. But why was Skip saying something about not inviting your friends to the party? Whatever that was, I don't think it was necessary. It certainly wasn't an iconic Regular Show moment. I don't get it.
Number 11, Pops finds the lost tapes. Nearly a decade after the original show's conclusion, we finally return to
They're trying to capitalize off the lost tapes specifically.
the regular show universe with a revival, The Lost Tapes. During the premiere, we get a glimpse at how Pops is doing in the afterlife. We're happy to see that Pops is doing well after his heroic sacrifice.
We're happy to see that Pops is doing well in heaven after his heroic sacrifice. I guess that's spoilers. I guess we got spoilers there. I don't, it just sounds so like, would I say that, like if I'm like, I think I will, I probably would like to cover the lost tapes. I'm going to wait for a couple more episodes to like come out. I haven't seen any of them yet, but like, I don't know. It's just a weird, we're happy to see him doing, well, he's a fictional character. Like, like, I don't know. It kind of speaks to that sort of, we'll watch more. I'll talk more about it as we go in.
Watching memories of his friends through a videotape. Sadly, he's rewatched the tape so much that it breaks, but on his quest to find it, he finds an entire collection of new tape.
Okay, so he's just recapping. He's literally just recapping. The closest thing to like commentary is, I'm happy to see him doing well in heaven after he died in the finale. I don't know, man. Is that commentary? I know, yeah. Pops was a very likable character, so it's nice that in heaven he's happy, I guess, but it's not really commentary. All right.
Wait, I see something else. It's more tapes. I've never seen these before.
Each tape contains a forgotten memory for Pops to recall, and a whole new zany adventure for us to enjoy, to reconnect with our favorite lazy.
Wait, how is that an iconic moment that just happened? Wouldn't an iconic moment be like, oh, Mordecai wins the excellent challenge? Like, that would be like an iconic moment because it's something that we remember a little more from the show as compared to other stuff. Why would an iconic moment be from an episode that aired like 3 days ago? It's not really iconic. Oh my God, it's so AI. Yeah, it seems like AI recapping. I don't have like a specific tell for you. I think it's one of those things where I say something. I say this about No Villains Are Safe as well. I don't like the idea of like throwing around this is AI to like stuff that just sucks. There was a big thing with the like Super Mario Galaxy movie recently where one reviewer is like, it might as well have been written by AI. And it's like, no, you're missing the point. Like, the problems with the Super Mario Galaxy movie are different from how AI would write a movie. This is purely a problem with how humans write movies. But I do think that with stuff like No Villains Are Safe, with like Watch Mojo, when you make that kind of comparison, like there is an element of, I think basically it's this: if you want to call something AI when you aren't 100% sure if it is, it has to be that the substance of the thing would be like literally no different if it was written by AI. And I think that that's what you, the chatter, are saying, and why I think it's okay the way you said it is like, and why I will say I feel like no villains are safe as AI when I don't actually have concrete, beyond a shadow of a doubt evidence. Although I have some pretty decent evidence for why I think no villains are safe as AI. Blue Shell player, if you know what I'm talking about. So like, let's say this wasn't written by AI. It's just recapping the episode. So like, what does it matter if it's AI or not? You could have had AI recap it. A person could have recapped it. It would kind of come out the same either way. You know, there's obviously something that would have been better. Like if a person recapped it, there'd be differences in the language and the way that it's presented that would be like slightly better. But at the end of the day, it's just taking something that someone else wrote and repackaging it. So it might as well be AI, even if it's not. Hey, thank you, Dark Sir, for another $5. Watchmojo criticizes provocative stuff, but in one video glazed Rias Gremory from an anime called High School DxD, a provocative anime. It's hypocrisy. Yeah, I mean, it's anything for views, right? Like, it's taking, you're kind of referring to the one we looked at before that was like needlessly sexualized things in games, and it's like, but the thumbnail had a video game woman in her underwear. Like, you know, like it's like you're doing the thing that you're criticizing, you know, at least like own it, you know, at least be like top 10 sexy scenes and you want to put in the like, at least you're owning, at least you're not like that's there could be issues with that because the whole, you know, there's things to criticize with that as well, but like at least own it. My goodness, you know.
Number 10, the illiterate Karen.
That's it. Yeah, so okay, yeah, so that's it. So it's just number 11, Pops finds the lost tapes and they just recap it. Literally no commentary. Number 10, the illiterate Karen. I never liked the term Karen. I always found it cringe. And also kind of sexist. I just don't like Karen. It's like everywhere, like, and it's such a, I feel like it's also an indication of like content farm kind of stuff. Like I feel like a lot of like Reddit stories will be like that too, where they're like Karens, you know, like I never like the term Karen. I just don't like it. Yeah. And it's also like, it's someone's name too. Like a person could just be named Karen. Like, I feel like an insulting word, like, sure, like there's a place for there's a place for a derogatory term for like someone who is rude to service workers, because that's what Karen means. It's a derogatory way to refer to someone who is mean to service workers. And I think that there is social utility in that because it's bad to be mean to service workers. I just take issue with the fact that it's a name and also that it's a woman's name, implying that only women can be rude to service work. Not implying that only women can be rude to service workers, but it does have a like, you know, because I've seen like, you know, if you think a woman can be mean to a service worker, you've never seen a guy in a suit be rude to a service worker. That's some of the most vile things you'll ever hear. But anyway, I just don't like the term. It's just such a low-hanging fruit term. Ooh, the Karen. And of course, they go the illiterate Karen. Also, criticizing the show or criticizing the characters of the show as if you're in the show. Ooh, she's such a Karen, you know, talking about a fictional character in a show. Is she called a she's not called a Karen in the show. That's from Watch Mojo, right? Like they don't say Karen in regular show. I feel like that would kind of date the episode.
Not too long before the dreaded Karen meme was born, regular show gave us a small taste of what to
Not too long before the dreaded Karen meme was born. Okay, so they don't call her Karen in the episode.
expect. When Mordecai and Rigby go to pick up a cake, a bitter customer accuses them of being line cutters, just because they took priority over her.
Excuse me, I'm here to pick up a cake.
Oh, if you have a prepaid receipt.
Is this I don't remember this. This is iconic? Of the whole show? Why did it pick this? Yeah, I always thought Karen was a Reddit term. It's very common on like Reddit Reddit post content. You know, it's funny. I actually, something I never really did. It was like right before I became a YouTuber and right before the advent of AI. Something I was very interested in was Reddit content. Maybe I'll talk about that someday. Like Reddit r/am I the butthole like videos. There's so many of them that are so content farmy. That was one of the first things that actually got me interested in doing this kind of analysis of YouTube videos. And then I started covering SpongeBob, and then Sponge Truths became a thing, and that all just kind of lined up where that became like the big thing for me.
Run the duo down, only to end up crashing because she couldn't read the danger signs. We probably should feel bad for her illiteracy, but it's too satisfying to see an entitled customer face karma, and Mordecai and Rigby handle the
My God.
situation perfectly.
Wait, what does that say? I wish I could read.
Number 9, muscle.
What doesn't she explode? I haven't seen that episode in a long time, but knowing regular show, she explodes, right? Right? I'm sure that's like what, like, I just feel like I know regular show well enough that she like crashes and then like a second later she like blows up. Because that's how all regular show villains die, is they explode. Like that's like the whole bit of the show. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's another thing where it's like, if you're going to steal the show, at least do it right. At least show the part that's funny. But yeah, it's like, it's just this. Okay. So like, it's just saying, haha, it's satisfying to see the lady get, like, that's just, it's describing exactly how you're supposed to feel watching the episode. So why not just watch the episode at that point? Like, why watch this video? I guess it's because it's like you're watching the whole episode, but in a minute's time. Again, I said this when I recently talked about No Villains Are Safe, and I kind of want to say that this is similar, where when you watch content like this, you are not getting anything out of it. Now, there's a nuance to that. Like, not everything you watch has to be something you need to like pay like super close attention to, or you're always learning something. Like, as well, you should always be learning something, but like, it doesn't have to be that extreme. You know, sometimes when I say stuff like that, people jump to like the most extreme version of that and are like, oh, like you think like everyone just needs to be constantly watching, like, you know, like almost like you're like maximizing the amount that you learn from stuff that you engage with. And no, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that everything that you watch, everything that you do, you should try to have some sort of substance, you know, whether that's watching a video. Make sure that you're watching a video that gives you a little bit of something. Like if you're watching something that, like, there's so many videos that analyze regular show that are going to talk about the themes of it, that are going to talk about like the characters and their, you know, like, I don't know how much they go into like their arcs and stuff. You know, it's actually not like as common as I would like it to be, like the kind of content that I make, where I'm very deep on like talking about like character arcs and all this sort of stuff that's really important. But there's stuff out there that is much better than this. Like, this is just not, you're just wasting your time. And I don't think people should waste their time. I don't think that there is a place in our lives for complete wastes of time. Like, even if you're like let's say you're a person who practices like meditation, like kind of the point of meditation is you literally do nothing, you know, like if you take like 10 minutes and you try to like empty your mind, even that has a purpose, because the purpose of that is to alleviate anxiety, you know, because if you can clear your mind for a short amount of time, you are helping your anxiety. So in a way, that's not a waste of time. That is productive, even though you are by definition doing nothing. Don't try to argue with me that Watch Mojo is like that. It's not. You're not meditating while you watch Mojo, okay? You aren't. You are making your life, if you're not making your life better, you are making your life worse, because your life is worse in the sense that it's not getting better in the way that it could have gotten better. Now, obviously from there's a ton of nuance. There's like, ooh, well, what is the most productive thing to watch? What if there are times where I'm just feeling a little more tired or not as willing to really engage with stuff? There's differences, obviously, but you should try to make sure that everything you watch, everything you do has some sort of a baseline, you know? And that can apply to a lot of things. It applies to video games as well. Like there are plenty of video games that are that can be good for you. That can be good for your sense of competition, your sense of problem solving, your sense of coordination. There's plenty of video games that are good for that. But then you have like Candy Crush, and it like hijacks your brain of just like whatever the most little do's you can do. You know, you got to look out for that stuff. Any sort of thing that you do has a productive version of it. You know, and it is difficult to truly find it. And the thing that's sinister about stuff like Watch Mojo is that it disguises itself as something that does have substance, and then it doesn't. And that's what I think is so sinister about them. And I think that's what makes them as bad as No Villains Are Safe, as bad as from even just the 2 minutes and 25 seconds of this video, they are as bad as No Villains Are Safe. They're literally doing the same thing as No Villains Are Safe. And they did it like, let's watch. Okay, so like, all right, we kind of get the point of this video. It's just recapping different regular show moments. Like I literally do not have anything else to say about it. One day ago, 11 most iconic regular show moments. Why don't we look at a Watch Mojo that's like really popular? You know, let's look at a top one from like 12 years ago. Let's see what happens and what's different. Let's not look at a sexualized one. Top 10 funniest movie insults. What's one that's like kind of like me? What's one that's kind of similar to my content? Let's watch a SpongeBob one. You know, we love SpongeBob. Let's watch a SpongeBob one. Top 20 times SpongeBob SquarePants went too far. I feel like SpongeJuice has done a version of that. Top 10 evil plans by Plankton. Top 20 SpongeBob guest stars 2 years ago. The Robin Williams is the one they put in the thumbnail. Wait, that's not even accurate. Robin Williams doesn't talk to SpongeBob. He talks to Patchy the Pirate in Truth or Square. That's another thing. They're using an actor who they're using a person who passed away that people feel very strongly about. Sponge Truth did this too with Steven Hillenburg. A lot of people do that with Steven Hillenburg, but I talk specifically about Sponge Truth doing that with Steven Hillenburg. So they put Robin Williams in the thumbnail to get more clicks because people feel very strongly about Robin Williams's passing. Should I see? Nah, we know what it would say. We know it's going to be tasteless. I'm just going to move past it. Top 10 SpongeBob mistakes that are left in. Top 20 SpongeBob SquarePants moments 1 year ago. 34K views. Wait, that's pathetic. I know 34K views is a lot. Like I just did my huge Camp Coral video. Let's go to my channel. I have 15K subscribers. So I watched Camp Coral 11 days ago. So it could probably get even more than that. It's still growing. It got 38K views. So I got more views than Watch Mojo on my Camp Coral video. Now I probably had to work a lot harder for it. I'm just me. Like, you know, I don't have a team. Watch Mojo is like a team of people working on this stuff. Like this is a team. This is just me. And look, I've got 160K, you know, my Sneakers O'Toole video. Dang, this one popped off. You know, like SpongeBob special was especially a 60. Like I'm getting good numbers, you know, like for someone with 15K subscribers. 34K top 20 SpongeBob score. And you know what? I know why this didn't do well. It's so generic. People aren't looking for this anymore. 1 year ago, just out of the clear blue sky, top 20 SpongeBob SquarePants moments. Who cares? Who cares anymore? We all watched these videos 10 years ago. You know, like we all have seen the most generic, ooh, SpongeBob is such a great show. We know already. People want to see more, you know, people want to see stuff like ranking every time the chum bucket got destroyed, you know, like this is, you know, something where I'm discussing all the different episodes where it gets destroyed and how it served the story and all that, or, you know, something like, you know, or criticizing, you know, modern episodes like my Gorilla Suit Day video, you know, like criticizing a modern episode. Like, this is, you know, you couldn't have watched this video 10 years ago because this episode didn't exist 10 years ago. So I'm covering more contemporary topics like top 20 SpongeBob SquarePants moment. You're living in the past, man. 1 year ago. I don't want to watch a 1 year ago. I'm sure it's very similar to the regular show one we just watched. Especially because 1 year ago they could have used AI still. So I want to watch one that they definitely couldn't have used AI for. Here's one. 2 million views. Top 10 SpongeBob SquarePants characters 12 years ago. Top 10 characters? How do you rank characters? It's so, even 12 years ago, it's like they were running out of ideas. What do you mean ranking? I guess you could be like, my favorite characters are this and like rank your favorite characters. Sure. I guess I could see it. But I don't know. I feel like also the way that Watch Mojo is designed, where they're kind of like, they're not like a person. They are, and they always have been, a like conglomerate. Like they're trying to act like they're like a TV show or something. Like they don't really present themselves as they're like one person. Like if I made a video that was like ranking SpongeBob characters, it'd be like, oh, like, well, like what are my personal favorite characters? Not that I would do a video like that. I feel like it's kind of shallow. So let's see, from 12 years ago, this would be like around like peak Watch Mojo popularity. Okay.
Smell. The kind of smelly smell. The smelly smell that smells smelly.
Number 10.
Overuse of a clip.
Karen Plankton.
No matter what I do, I always end up being squashed by someone bigger than me.
Oh, come on.
Overuse of clips.
I think you're overreacting.
See, can't you tell already, like, that the point of the video is to show the clips and everything else is inconsequential? You know? It's just, what do we get to showing the clips? That's like their bread and butter. If you watch my videos, I have very few clips. I only put in a clip if it's like absolutely necessary. Whereas with something like Watch Mojo, they're like, it's all about when they get the clips. And by the way, this is 12 years ago. This has been a problem for a long time. It did not start with AI. It did not start with no villains are safe. This was a thing 12 years ago in this video that has 2 million views.
Sorry.
The wife of the show's main villain, Plankton, Karen is a sassy computer who's always there to let her micro-sized hubby know he's gonna fail in his every endeavor.
So tell me, Plankton, how do you plan on failing to steal the Krabby Patty formula this time?
Still, give her points for supporting him through what must be a nightmare marriage.
Golly, she sure is pretty, Shell.
Give her points for supporting what might be a nightmare marriage? It's just hollow. You know, it's just hollow. Like, why is it a nightmare marriage? What makes it, you know, like what, it's like, it's something where like you hear it and it sounds right. But if you start to really think about it for like more than 5 seconds, which most people who would watch this wouldn't, unfortunately. And I think you should, like, it's not me trying to make fun of people who would watch this. I'm letting you know your life would be better if you think about stuff like that, you know, and you can't know unless someone tells you. You need to be taught, you know, to think like that. I was taught to think like that, and now I want to teach others to think like that so that they can have more meaningful interactions with the media that they consume.
Sheldon.
Yes, that's my first name.
Sheldon!
Will you please?
Yeah, remember the Sheldon scene? Yeah, that's very funny. That joke that you didn't write is very funny.
Okay, I'm done. No more!
Good. To continue. Only you can bring
Oh my goodness, there's so much of this scene is about Plankton.
honor.
Number 9. Mrs. Poppy Puff.
Wait, that was it? Mrs. Poppy Puff? I thought she was Penelope Puff. Where did Mrs. Poppy Puff come from? Not AI, this is 12 years old. That is good old-fashioned human, we don't care about what we're making error.
You can't make this easy, can you?
A role model for driving instructors everywhere.
Wait, but why is Karen number 10 and why is Mrs. Puff number 9? What is it about Mrs. Puff that makes her a better character than Karen? Like, you know, and that's also kind of the problem. Like, okay, so you could do this ranking 2 ways. You could say, 1, Mrs. Puff is an objectively better character than Karen. She is better written for, and I don't think that, like, I don't think that one character is better written than the other, but let's say, like, in Mrs. Puff's episode, she is written a little better and a little more consistently than Karen. That makes her a better character. That would be the way of saying it's objective. Much harder to prove. It's much harder to prove objectivity, especially when something that is mostly subjective, like the arts. I wouldn't recommend it personally. I think that there's no reason to rank top 10 SpongeBob characters objectively. I think that, especially with how long running the show is, you really wouldn't be able to really properly do it. And even if you did, if you went through and did all of it, it wouldn't really mean much. Or you could do top 10 of my personal favorite SpongeBob characters. That's valid. Like, you can do that. Like, I wouldn't personally do that. It's not really my kind of content, but like, you could do that video. That could be a meaningful video. Someone saying, you know, let's say someone likes Mrs. Puff more than Karen. Oh, I like Mrs. Puff more because I relate to her. Oh, I was a teacher and I remember having an awful student like SpongeBob. So that, I remember that. Whereas I've never been a computer, so I don't feel as much of a connection to Karen. Like, that's something, at least. Like, that's sharing your perspective, sharing yourself, sharing what, you know, like that does matter, you know, like, as long as you're like honest about it, you're not like being a content farm. Like, I remember I criticized No Villains Are Safe in a similar way, where they talked about Mrs. Puff and they were like, if I had to have SpongeBob as a student, I would hate that or whatever. And I criticized them for that because they were just being disingenuous. They're being a content farm. Mermaid Man and Barnacle, that's two characters. That's two characters. I know they can be a bit of a unit, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, but they are two characters. I guess if you were ranking top 10 SpongeBob character, like, you see, this is kind of similar to when I went over the theories, where I think the reason that I'm being pedantic and being like Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy is two characters is because I'm so against this video for like being so cynical. Whereas if there was a person who was genuinely like, hey, these are like my favorite SpongeBob characters, you know, like number 8, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. You know, I love Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy because, you know, they're superheroes, man. Like, and I'm trying to think off the top of my head how a good version of that would look, so it's not entirely perfect. But like, someone was like, oh, I love Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy because I grew up watching superheroes, and I think that they add this whole extra layer to the show, you know, where it's like, now they can do superhero episodes. Like, SpongeBob is so good at doing different genres, and Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy are just a representation of how you can do that even better. And that's why my number 8 favorite character is Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. And then maybe have a line in there, be like, I know it's two. Let's see if they say I know it's two characters.
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
Mermaid Man, with his young associate Barnacle Boy, fights for all creatures that live in the sea against the forces of evil.
They're Nickelodeon's answer to Batman and Robin. These two...
Not really. Not really. I mean, like, I get the Batman and Robin comparison. It's, again, like, I'm nitpicking because, again, if a person who was genuine said that, I'd be like, well, they're a little Aquaman too. But like, I get the spirit of it, you know, like, but when it just makes you so against them, you know.
But their enthusiasm to get the old guys out of retirement usually ends badly.
Wait, that's already kind of incorrect. Their enthusiasm to get the old guys out of retirement always ends badly. That's only in the first Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episode. So this isn't written with AI, but I think getting stuff correct is just a symptom of like just saying whatever, you know. In a way, like, it's kind of similar to what the person said before, where they're like, Watch Mojo is like AI before AI. There are a lot of similarities, and I think it is important to point out these similarities. Because, I mean, think about, like, what AI even is. Like, AI is not some specific, magical, other kind of existence of a thing that does different things. AI just takes our issues and exacerbates them and makes them worse. So, like, what AI does is, like ChatGPT, is it wants you to talk to it for as long as possible. So for it to succeed at that, it will just say whatever to keep you talking to it. And this leads to a lot of problems. This is why you have like the people with like AI relationships, or like you have that it'll still answer you even if it's not something that it really can answer. You know, if you ask it like a moral question, or if you ask it like a medical question, like it'll still answer you even when it probably shouldn't. Like it probably should just respond with, sorry, I can't answer that, but it will, like, it'll go on and on because it wants to just keep you talking to it. Watch Mojo is doing the same thing 12 years ago. It's just, by whatever means necessary, how do we keep people watching? Well, we have to say something. And in a way, that's not that different from AI. Now, obviously, AI is worse. At least a human being could reasonably write something that is meaningful. But again, I said this about No Villains Are Safe. There's a lot of similarities between this and what I just covered with No Villains Are Safe in my most recent stream segment, which you should totally check out. So No Villains Are Safe is almost not allowed to have substance. And Watch Mojo is kind of the same. If you look at Watch Mojo, what if in the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy section here, the writer of this script had like a profound take, like they realized what I said earlier, my take about how Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy make the SpongeBob universe feel a little bigger, and they give it an opportunity for they create an opportunity for episodes to have superhero themes in a show that is otherwise not about superheroes. You know, SpongeBob is not a superhero show. It's not like Teen Titans. Teen Titans, every episode is a superhero episode. The show is about superheroes. So SpongeBob is not a superhero show. SpongeBob takes advantage of all sorts of genres. I did a video on how SpongeBob has great science fiction episodes where it's not specifically a science fiction show, but it can do science fiction episodes. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, superheroes. Superheroes is a bit science fiction-y, a little bit of fantasy, where it just gives them an opportunity to do that. So if you had that take and you were the writer of this video, you would probably have to go out of your way to not write that take into the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy section. Because if you had a unique take like that, you would have to have a unique take for every character on the list. Do you see the problem here? Do you see how this kind of content actively works against having substance? Now let's see if they have anything like that to say in this section. They probably don't.
Cynical and senile, these human-merman hybrids are a comedic look back to the campy fun of the 80s superheroes, and we love them for it.
Fighting a rogues gallery of
Yeah, just the most, like, here's what they are.
villains, like the sinister slug, the atomic flounder,
Just gonna do
and
the whole
dreaded
bit.
jumbo shrimp.
Just gonna do the whole bit. The whole bit. A whole bit. Man, these SpongeBob writers worked hard on these episodes. And then people just go, 12 years ago even, they just go and take their jokes and get 2 million views off of it. I guess, you know, they're falling off now. Imagine if the show staff got residuals every time content farms like this posted whole jokes and clips for their show. It's so hard to regulate that because, again, like, you can't meaningfully go after Watch Mojo without going after people like me. Like, maybe you can, maybe there's things that you can do, but it would be so tough. And I feel like if you tried to have a system where something like Watch Mojo couldn't operate, I think a lot of other kinds of content wouldn't be allowed to operate either. It's really tough. Like, I feel like there is an answer. I feel like with the right amount of understanding of nuance, I feel like you could just be like, yeah, Watch Mojo, like, you don't get to make videos like this. And Jackson Finelli still gets to make his videos because my videos provide, like, we all see the difference. There clearly is a difference. I'm defining the difference right here. But the problem is, like, I would be so afraid of that power being given that I feel like it would just come down and, like, knock what I'm doing down. You know, it's very complicated. Like, I think we just need better systems in general before we can actually start to have that conversation. So, like, for now, all I can really focus on is talking to the people who watch this kind of garbage and help them understand that what they're watching is not good for them. And I hate to give a personal responsibility answer to a systematic problem. I like to think of things in terms of how they can be solved systematically. Whereas like, you know, just telling people, hey, have a, you know, hey, try to make better choices. Like, it's a good thing to tell people, but I don't think that actually like solves the problem. Like you'll never actually get rid of Watch Mojo or things like it meaningfully unless you had real systematic changes to how internet content is viewed. And obviously, as much as like getting rid of AI would help, Watch Mojo again existed years ago. It's been around for 20 years, so it's not like that would get rid of all of it. Yeah. I wish I had some money to give you, but I'm kind of poor. That's okay. You don't need to donate or be a channel member or give a super chat. I'm glad that you're here just for being here. I mean, I always appreciate it, but I don't want someone to donate to me unless they feel like it's disposable income. I always said that if this stuff is going to be monetized, Paramount should get a portion of the profits and include that in the residuals to the artists, but that might get tough. It really does get tough because as soon as you open that up, especially just with like corporate greed, like they would try to do it for like my videos, and then I wouldn't be able to survive if that was the case. Like Watch Mojo would be able to afford it, but like, and also like I don't think that would be a good solution because I think that this shouldn't exist irregardless. Like I don't think that there should be recap content. I don't think recap content should exist. Whereas I think content like mine should exist. I don't think the artist should get residuals because some YouTube video went and posted a shallow recap of their work. I think the artist should get residuals because people should watch the actual episodes because they don't watch shallow recaps that just go over the episodes and then they feel like they watch the episode again and then they don't watch the episode. Because think about how like much that happens is that people will watch a recap of SpongeBob episodes and then they won't actually rewatch the episodes themselves. And that's just worse for everybody. I don't think it's that bad in this case to give a personal responsibility answer as the system is entirely upheld by people playing into it. Other systems usually have inner pillars that sustain them. I'm not sure what you mean entirely by that. I think it's good to give a personal responsibility answer for the sake of the small amount of individuals who will be better off having heard it and made their own choices. So like I get comments all the time that say, you helped me realize that Sponge Truce is AI. You helped me realize that No Villains Are Safe is bad content. Maybe I'll get a comment on this video that says, you helped me realize that Watch Mojo is garbage, so I unsubscribed from them. Like, you know, like I get comments from that, and like I think that that is meaningful because at least those people's lives are improved by it. But in terms of will it solve the problem, it will not. Let's talk about the drama. So this video, Watch Mojo's downfall should be celebrated, got commented on by Watch Mojo themselves. They commented on the video and the creator even pinned it. Makes sense because this is why this comment is why a lot of people are watching this video. Like this video is getting more views because of this comment. Watch Mojo themselves have inadvertently boosted this video. I bet when they commented this, they probably didn't think that that would happen. I don't know. Wouldn't they know that it would backfire like that? I guess maybe it's like an all publicity is good publicity thing. So let's read it. The day no one talks you is the day you are irrelevant. So thank you. So this is the all publicity is good publicity. Is it a fallacy? I don't actually know. It sounds like a fallacy. I guess it's not a fallacy because it is technically true, whereas a fallacy is false. Like that's kind of the point. Feels like a fallacy though. First of all, it's not always true. It's not always true. There are definitely times where publicity can be bad publicity, where it can be bad for you. Like there are things that someone makes a big video where they're talking about you and it like there are times where being talked about can end your career. I don't think that this is a I think the reason that I think that only applies to like people who do like criminal stuff though, you know, or like I think being a channel that like sucks, but like you're not doing anything illegal, like you're not doing anything like, I mean, I think it's immoral to make content like that because it does make the world worse. So like I think that is immoral, but like, you know what I mean? Like criminal behavior, publicity is generally like, that's like actually bad publicity. Like that's not all publicity is good publicity. That obviously does not apply to Watch Mojo here. Like this is not a criminal investigation. It's a talking about how they suck as a channel. And again, that can be immoral. Like putting out bad content does have negative consequences on the world, which is immoral, but it's not the same. It's not the same as that. So in a way, yes, that could be good publicity, but I don't know. Like it's hard for me to say, like, how would this story lead to Watch Mojo getting more viewers? You know, because I feel like I guess people could follow it and they agree with Watch Mojo. Like maybe they see this statement and they actually agree with like what it says. I mean, I got 4.2K likes. It doesn't show us the dislikes because YouTube is annoying. I know there's an extension. I probably could find how many dislikes there are on it. But even then, the fact that YouTube doesn't show dislikes, it motivates people to not dislike. So even if you could see the dislikes, you wouldn't be seeing the... It's so stupid that they got rid of it. I can't believe that hasn't changed back yet. I didn't think that was going to last. They still don't have shown dislikes. It's actually insanity that YouTube doesn't show dislikes. But the likes could be ironic. It's ironically pinned after all. That number would not be 0, but I feel like a majority of the people who clicked like would genuinely like what Watch Mojo has to say. I feel like there's a person who could hold that position, where they would I feel like you'd have to be a bit uneducated on the subject to defend Watch Mojo, but I feel like that kind of person could exist. I mean, there's people who defend AI, so like, you know, people are wrong about stuff all the time. So yeah, like maybe I feel like this would do more harm to them than good. You know, you have to talk about the net positive or net negative. I feel like this whole thing would be a net negative for them, but not a very big one. I feel like it's a slight net negative. I feel like they're going to keep kicking. They're going to keep doing whatever it is that they do. And if anything is going to fully be like the end of them, it's not really going to be this specifically. I think in a lot of ways they're already on their way out. But also, I don't think that this is a good attitude of like when no one talks about you, you're irrelevant. Like I would rather not be talked about at all than be talked about badly. I really think that like that's... I really do think it's worse to be taught. I would rather be forgotten than talked about for a bad reason. You know, like, and I don't know why someone would think otherwise. I mean, I do know why someone would think otherwise, because first of all, Watch Mojo is not a person. I mean, they are like it's run by a person, but notice how like it's a little logo. It's like if you think Jackson Finelli, like it's a drawing of me is the little thing drawn by my fiance. She did such a good job. But like this is my real name, you know, and my face is in these videos. Like I'm a, you know, like I come off as a person. So like if you know, like let's say someone was talking about me and they made the same kind of video, Jackson Finelli is failing, and that's a good thing. That's my name, you know, like it's a little different. So like if you're just like some soulless corporate conglomerate and you think that something like this being talked about gets you views, gets you money, then yeah, I guess it is a good thing for you, you know? But like, as far as like integrity goes, as far as like being remembered in a positive light, as far as things that actually matter beyond just like your 9-to-5 paycheck, no, it's a bad thing to be talked about in a negative way. I can't imagine that many people are on Watch Mojo's side because they don't have a personality. I'll get into why I think people would be on their side. I don't think it has to do with liking Watch Mojo or their personality. I think that there is a much deeper social issue at play here, but I'll talk about that after I read their whole thing. Okay, never heard of your channel, and I admit I didn't see the video, but a few points. Why would you not? Why would you say this? Why would you not watch the video if you're going to leave a big comment on it? I guess they must have thought that they weren't going to get... I guess they thought this wasn't going to be a big deal, but they commented. I feel like if you're a big company and you're commenting on the thing, I feel like you should at least watch the video and refute the points. This is a common tactic from people who are wrong, is to not actually discuss the points. In fact, I am about to record after this. Today was supposed to be my filming day. It's why there's a sheep behind me, actually, on my set. I'm recording my video today on Animal Farm. It took me a while to write it. It was a tough one. I wanted the video to come out last week, and it was just a rough. It was very difficult to write because it's a very political video, Animal Farm, and I wanted to make sure that I made my arguments very strongly. You know, I want to be rock solid when I make arguments. So it took me a long time to write the video, and I'm actually recording it after this. And something that I talk about in my Animal Farm video is that the movie Animal Farm is made by people who don't agree with the original book, people who don't agree with socialism. Animal Farm is about socialism. Everyone knows this. Instead of refuting the points that the book made in favor of socialism, like, for example, there is an entire character in Animal Farm who is based on Karl Marx. And in the Animal Farm movie, instead of having the Karl Marx character in it and having the Karl Marx character make the same arguments that they made in the book, but then providing a counter argument to those arguments as made in the book, instead of doing that, they just cut the Karl Marx allegory completely. The character does not exist in the movie. And the reason that they did that is because there are no arguments against the things that the character said, because that character is correct. The things that the character says, some of the things that the character says in the book, it's actually supposed to be refuted later on, or supposed to be a way that the populist sentiment that the Karl Marx character says can be used by an authoritarian leader for disastrous consequences. But for the most part, a lot of the things that the Karl Marx character in Animal Farm says is supposed to be taken positively, correctly. And there really isn't much of an argument against some of these things. Like, for example, the pig Karl Marx in Animal Farm compares the farm conditions, or talks about the farm conditions and how the humans take advantage of the animals. And obviously we can extrapolate that to our own lives on how we are taken advantage as the working class by the bourgeoisie and all that. Blah, blah, blah. You watch my Animal Farm video and it comes out. It should be coming out, on Saturday. If it's already out, if at the time you're watching this, it's already out, I will link it in the description of this video. The Animal Farm movie just ignored arguing against it. And I think the reason they didn't argue against it is because there really isn't a good argument for it. Like, there isn't a good argument against it. So instead, they just don't argue against it at all. And I think that's a little bit of what Watch Mojo is doing here. And what a lot of people who are wrong about stuff, people will comment on my videos about, like, sponge truths. And they'll be like, you just keep covering sponge truths. Or, like, you're always talking about sponge truths. And I'll be like, okay, like, do you have a defense for them? I actually had one person who was very honest with me, and they were like, no, I just don't care about content farms, and you cover content farms all the time, and I just don't care about them. And I was like, you know what? I appreciate your honesty. That's just not to your taste. And I told them, like, I'm not going to stop covering them, but, like, I appreciate your honesty, and I hope you continue to enjoy my non-content farm videos. But some people will be like, they'll just, they obfuscate the point. They don't actually make arguments because there isn't an actual argument. Whereas when I make arguments for stuff, I have arguments against things all the time, and the difference is that I'm right and they're wrong. Like, it's really that simple. When you're wrong, you try to avoid having an argument at all. And that's what Watch Mojo is doing here. In 2006, we were obviously a bit ahead of the curve. Not really sure what that means. I think they probably mean in production value, that, like, in, what would be their first video? Why don't we look? Oldest. 19 years ago. Hey, liar. 20 years? Hasn't been 20 years yet, actually. How to choose the right jeans.
now, and it's going to give us some great advice to find that perfect pair of
Okay, so yeah, so it's kind of like, even for 20 years ago, 2006, like this is pretty professional. It's got like like just there's an interviewer here, and obviously it looks dated, but like that's just the time period. This would have been very professional for the time, especially on YouTube. In 2012, when every channel was some vlogger sitting on the couch, we mastered our signature style, and many cried as it looked like VH1, MTV, ESPN, and not what the vocal minority viewed as YouTube content. Okay, so so in 2012, so it's 2026. The SpongeBob video we watched was 2014, so around this year. So they're saying that people cried because it looked like MTV or ESPN, and not what the vocal minority. Are you sure they weren't complaining because your content was worthless? Maybe they were complaining that your content was nothing more than just stating top 10 SpongeBob characters and saying a character's name and showing a couple of clips and saying they're a good character or whatever. Or saying this is a good episode of a TV show or whatever. And like, that's all you did. Maybe that's why people criticized it. But no. They were mad because you looked like VH1. No, they were mad because you looked like TV, and this was YouTube, and YouTube is supposed to be videos of people being on their couch. And like, I'm sure there were people who were upset about that. And there is even a validity to that. Like, we're seeing this happen actually with TikTok currently. So, TikTok is kind of big for like people like just like kind of talking into their phones. And now TikTok is more so encouraging a lot more professional content. And some people feel like they're getting kind of boxed out from that like it's not this idea of, oh, anyone can just talk into their phone. And if they're talking in the right way, if they're resonating with people in the right way, they can get views. Now there's a barrier to it. There's a certain kind of lighting that's to be expected. There's a certain kind of filming that's to be expected, certain kind of pacing to be expected. It's not just the actual speaking anymore. And there's a validity to that. I'm someone who's a little in between. I like good production value. I like it for myself. Like, look at what I have right here. I have proper lighting setups. I have my background right here. I'm a little like plushies and the little, I want my stuff to look good. I have a pretty high quality mic. I have a, solid camera, like, but also like, I do try to not go nuts with it. I do try to not go too far. For one, because higher production does mean, you got to put in more input for maybe not as much output. Like my videos, the editing in my videos is relatively simpler than the likes of something like Game Theory that has a bunch of like stuff that like slides in all the time, or even we look at Sponge Truths and No Villains Are Safe. Their editing is very extreme with stuff popping in and all the sound effects and all that. And I have little bits of sound effects and I have things pop in from time to time. My content is very much, it's a person talking and you see footage of the show or an image from the show that's relevant to what I'm talking about. And that's generally all I do. And it's still very difficult to do that. I'll still spend upwards of 8 to 10 hours editing a video, as will my fiance who edits it. Like there's still so much work that goes into that. But I do kind of try to keep it as this, you are hearing specific thoughts right from a person, even with a little bit of extra production value put into that. But I do get it. I get that. It's also kind of difficult because it does raise the barrier for entry. But I think in a lot of ways, like, that's fine. Like, like, I get it. It sucks if you're like just trying to start out and like your phone camera and phone mic isn't good enough. Like, I get it. That kind of sucks. But also, like, I think that there's a value to a good mic. I think that there's a value to a camera that's a little higher quality. I'm not really big on like, oh, every video should just be a person sitting in front of their bed, grainy with like, hard to hear audio, and like that should just be enough. Like, I think some of that attitude of like hating that you can't just do that might be a little bit of like you're a little upset that you don't have access to those resources. And it sucks if you don't have access to those resources. I advocate for a more equitable world where everyone could have a chance to get those resources. So it does kind of suck that some people don't have access to that. So again, it's kind of a very nuanced thing, where production value, this and that, but also like, the most important thing is that them acting like the reason that people hate them is because they look professional and not because their content is like they know what they're doing. They know that, like I said, they have to go out of their way to make sure that their content is shallow. Like they would have to tell their writer, hey, actually, like this is too deep of a observation. We have to make it more just like, you know, like let's say like if I got a job writing for Watch Mojo, I got hired as one of their writers and I wrote like how I wrote my videos, Watch Mojo would be like, stop that, because we can't do a video of that quality 3 times a day. You just can't. It's not possible. You can do 3 videos a day that are just describing a thing that happens and showing it, but you can't do 3 videos a day of my kind of deep analysis. You just can't. No matter how many people are on your team, it just is not going to make sense at that point. So them not acknowledging that, and of course they can't acknowledge that. If they give the game away. You can't acknowledge that. If you say that, even if you say a version of that sounds a little better, you give away the game. You can't let us know that you're aware of that. You so are, but you can't act like that. The challenge in media is staying relevant, keeping your audience guessing. That's such a nothing statement. What do you mean keeping your audience guessing? 10 unanswered questions for Mortal Kombat 3. I mean, I guess you couldn't guess with like 100% accuracy that video was going to be that video. Sure. But like, what do you mean keep your audience guessing? Top 28 hilarious Wheel of Fortune fails. Yeah, you're really keeping us on our toes. That riveting content there. Companies like BuzzFeed, Vice, Vox, and channels that inspired themselves by us by their own admission all came and went. We managed to both keep our OG fans happy and innovate. Is BuzzFeed gone? What do you mean? They all came and went? I don't know that much about... But wasn't BuzzFeed in controversy recently? Oh no, BuzzFeed like just shut down, right? Is that a thing? BuzzFeed sold Byron Allen to buy BuzzFeed in a $120 million deal. Said, okay, BuzzFeed said it has substantial doubt about its ability to continue as a business 2 months ago. I mean, I can see why, but why did this dude buy it? Why did Byron Allen buy it? Vice shut down. Vice will cease publishing on Vice.com and lay several hundred staffers. Yeah, looks like Vice. Yeah. Anyone know what happened to Vice? Okay, so okay, I'll give him that. And Vox from Has-Been Hotel. I don't know what Vox is. What is Vox? Vox shut down. I'm just getting Has-Been Hotel. What is Vox? When we get up there. No. I don't know what Vox is other than the character. Okay. We managed to both keep our OG fans happy and innovate. Well, okay, what does that mean, keep our OG fans happy? Because you have 26 million subscribers and you barely crack... Oh, well, they got 400K views on this one. So sometimes they'll get a pop off. But still, like, they don't get, like, this is for someone with 25 million subscribers, how much of your OG fan, I mean, I guess of the 27K views, I guess half of them are OG fans. I guess that's a lot. I don't know. You know, it just seems like another nothing statement. If by downfall you mean being a survivor, having 100 plus FTEs who earn their living with us, then I will take it. No, I think by downfall they mean that you clearly don't have the same amount of views that you used to have. That is a downfall by definition. You might be doing fine. Like, again, like, I guess these view counts 3 times a day is nothing to sneeze at, you know? Like, it is an indication that your kind of content that used to get in the millions of views 10 years ago now doesn't. I think I think you're being a little insecure here. I don't, like, you know, like, still being around doesn't mean that you're doing good or doing the same or doing as good as you would have want to. Also, this may be inside baseball, but you are aware that AVOD is YouTube 1.0 and the platform has evolved, right? What's AVOD? I could break it down for you, but why bother? Hint, viewers are spending nearly an hour per watch session watching our content. We are, in the ways that matter, more pertinent than ever. I'm not sure what they're referring to. What is AVOD? Advertising-based video on demand. I believe they're referring to that they don't only get their views through YouTube, that they have like other means that they like advertise. I think that's perhaps what that means. I don't really know. I'm a little out of the loop on what that means. Viewers are spending nearly an hour per watch session watching our content. Haters, envious, jealous people are fuel to our fire. That's not really true, though. And, like, is that really what your bread and butter is? Like, people hating you is how you get known? I mean, I guess that's kind of true because, like, you have a very sordid reputation. So, like, that's how people know you. To be fair, on the view counts thing, there has been issues recently with YouTube where they updated how view counts are checked, possibly due to ad block viewers. No, that would not have this kind of difference between millions and at most 400K on a very topical subject. Hey, them getting hated for this comment is giving them attention, so it worked. But, like, really, like, is that like people going and watching this? They're going and watching the channel because, like, I'm talking about it. Like, wouldn't people, like, are there actually people who are watching my video on it and they're gonna like go and watch Watchmojo? Like, I get, so let's talk about people who would agree. So there are people out there who, and I've seen them. I have seen them in my comments. I have debated them in my comments. There are people out there who defend the idea of shallow content. They like the existence of it. And they never actually give you the reason why, because they don't even understand the reason why. And I think that this is a feeling that is rooted in deep insecurity. It's an idea that people who watch stuff like Watch Mojo, or even people who like watch like stuff that's good, like people who watch even like big movies and stuff, like classic movies, but they don't really understand why they like them because they don't have a lot of media literacy. And they'll argue something like, oh, well, like, you know, movies are just like fun or whatever, or like this or that, you know, people who like have shallow opinions of what the art should be. So someone like that who is insecure about their own, I want to say intelligence. I don't think that. I don't believe in the idea of like objective intelligence. But they feel that way about themselves. Someone who is insecure about that will see a Watch Mojo response like this, and it will resonate with them because they're seeing this shallow channel, this channel that, not because they don't think it's shallow, this simpler content, and they'll defend it and they'll be like, oh, well, like, you know, not everything has to be like, I just like to turn my brain off. I just like to turn my brain off. And I think the concept of turning your brain off is a response to bad things. It's not too dissimilar, but not exactly the same to like people who overuse like drugs and alcohol. I'm not saying it's exactly the same. I know it's a harsh comparison, but it is kind of that idea of you are numbing yourself when you shouldn't be. And that's what a lot of this like kind of slop what this kind of like shallow content is that it's numbing your brain. I'm turning my brain off. You really shouldn't turn your brain off, at least not in that way. I talked earlier about the concept of meditation, and that's a different thing. That's a mental health thing. It can have very good benefits in its own way. But like the idea of like turning your brain off to watch a Watch Mojo video is not, it's just not good for you. And you are numbing yourself from engaging with better things, because I think maybe deep down you feel a little insecure. It could be a number of things of why that is. Some people might just be mad at the concept of thinking deeper about stuff because they themselves don't possess the skills to think deeper about stuff. So they get mad at people who can. Now, I believe that just about everyone, not everyone, obviously there are exceptions. There are definitely people out there where mentally they are not able to grasp certain subjects. Obviously, you know, disabilities are a thing, but generally those are very serious. The average person is not afflicted by that. Again, I don't know the exact number. Like that's for psychiatrists and the scientific community to understand. But if like there's a person who genuinely is not able to grasp this thing, I'm not talking to them, you know, like I understand. And I'm sure they have bigger problems than Watch Mojo in their life that they're fine. They're exempt. But for most people who feel like they can't grasp deeper subjects and feel like they have to watch stuff like Watch Mojo because they can't, I think for most of them, I do think that there is an element of they could work on themselves. I do believe that. I believe that about a lot of people who may get offended at the idea of saying that. And perhaps to those people, maybe you're the people who need to hear it the most. So another reason that someone might not want to watch stuff with substance is because they themselves have their own prejudices. Good art is progressive generally. So when we discuss art and we discuss its themes and discuss the things that matter about art, what makes it good, we will inevitably begin discussing some element of progressivism. It's why I can't really avoid it on my channel. Like I'm not always explicitly like political, but there's no way for me to not be political in what I cover in some way, because art is inherently progressive. Even something like SpongeBob, SpongeBob isn't as obviously progressive as like, you know, Animal Farm, you know, something like that. But like all good art has some kind of progressive message. So if you yourself are someone who doesn't like progressivism, who is prejudiced, who holds certain bad beliefs in their heart, you're probably going to prefer watching something like Watch Mojo that will never challenge that. You know, whereas if you watch someone like me, you might be entertained by some of my videos that don't go as much into that. But then, you watch was this SpongeBob episode about religion and I challenge some of your prejudices, and then you're going to leave an angry comment, you know, like this is, you know, with Watch Mojo, you never have to worry about a video like this, you know, coming up, you know, you never have to worry about something like that because Watch Mojo will always be the most milquetoast stuff ever. So those are two like main examples, but there's probably some other reasons that I could probably think through if I really deeply thought about it. Maybe try to think about it yourself. There could be some other reasons for it, but generally these kinds of people, they will see this and they will want to be on Watch Mojo's side, not because there's something about Watch Mojo that speaks to them. There isn't. All they do is recap content that they didn't make. There is nothing to defend about them. But much like how Watch Mojo will not actually address the points made in the video and instead obfuscate them, someone who has their own underlying issues that they don't want to acknowledge will use something like Watch Mojo to further dig themselves into that sense of denial. And that is why this has 4.2 thousand likes. What are some replies to it? You made multiple videos ranking people being murdered. Dang. I think I don't usually like comments, but this is like a Ouija board speaking back. Holy ratio. Oh, 23K liking this guy's. This is like a Ouija board speaking back compared to the 4.2K who actually like the initial. That is holy ratio. Another ratio, 10K, twice as many likes on this reply than the initial comment. Trying to combat a video you admitted to not watching as a corporate conglomerate is about what I'd expect from a channel that does not care about a community or personality. That does baffle. How do you not watch it? If somebody made a video criticizing me, you know I'd be right here in this box refuting every point of it. I would never say that kind of cowardly nonsense. I didn't watch it, but whatever. You know, I'd come back at every point that someone said about me. Heck, if someone made a critical video about me, I might even agree with them on certain things. I don't know. I could be proven wrong. I could be. I've had people leave comments all the time that I've been like, you know what? I'll think about that moving forward. It totally has happened. Happened to me recently. Someone was talking about the no villains are safe. I was ripping on the voice actor for no villains are safe, and someone left a comment. I won't get too deeply into it because it's not relevant to this, but someone left a comment about how I criticized the no villains are safe voice actor. And I literally replied and was like, you know what? I'm going to think about that. Like, I'm going to think about your criticism. So that's Watch Mojo. I don't think I'll cover them again. I think that's pretty much all I'll ever need to say about them, but it was fun to cover something that isn't my usual content farms, my usual stuff.